Why does the Galaxy S25 Edge exist, and should you get one? Let's go. Samsung have just officially launched the S25 Edge. After getting it teased to us at Unpacked in January, where we got to see it on the Unpacked floor, albeit suspended from like a fish hook thing, we now finally have all of the information over what that incredibly thin form factor has inside it. I guess, why does it exist? Should you get one, or should you go for the more standardized S25, S25 Plus, or S25 Ultra? Well, let's look at what the Edge is and what Samsung actually announced. It is a razor-thin smartphone, harking back to the days of the Galaxy S6, where we had lightweight, thin form factors in our pockets instead of these gargantuan thick phones that we're now used to. But it has that form factor, but with today's hardware and internals, making for a pretty impressive combination. Fast chips, immaculate displays, and flagship camera hardware. Inside the S25 Edge, Samsung have kitted it out with the 8 Elite for Galaxy, the same chip that gave all the great performance to the S25 series earlier this year. It's also got, hardware-wise, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, which has dual pixel autofocus to support macro capabilities, and its main camera, a 200 megapixel camera, which is exactly the same one that you'll find on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. I guess at the front of all of it is a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED Quad HD Plus 1 to 120 Hertz display, which I guess goes all the way to the borders with ultra-thin bezels around it, giving it a really immaculate aesthetic. And it fits all of that in a frame that's 5.8 millimeters thin and only 163 grams. Incredible that they've fit all of that flagship stuff inside a phone that small or tiny in frame size. You've got the performance, you have the chip, you have a vapor chamber that's bigger than the S25 Plus's vapor chamber to help keep it running efficiently and cool, but there's a disappointment, I guess, a sacrifice that I guess Samsung deemed necessary. The battery capacity, it's only 3,900 milliamp hours. Samsung said in their testing that it does go all day, but it's very, very limiting. Hardware will be limited. No amount of software is going to make up for that capacity, especially when we've seen it running with that chip on Samsung's other flagships this year. Samsung not choosing to use silicon carbon, I guess, is a reason why we're stuck with that capacity. And 25-watt fast charging also, I guess, limits how fast you can charge it. Although being a smaller battery, it will go from 0 to 55% in about half an hour, which is not the best, but it's also not the worst. But you compare that to the Galaxy S25 Plus, which has a 4,900 milliamp hour battery and is slightly thicker at 7.3 as opposed to the 5.8 on the Edge, and you just have to decide whether or not you want to sacrifice that battery life to get some new form factor. But I think where Samsung are with batteries, even though the Note 7 happened 9 years ago, wow, 9 years ago, it still gives Samsung some caution. They maybe aren't ready to just jump into new battery tech just yet for fear of having history repeat itself, which I can understand. Not to say, though, that it's still disappointing. So what are you missing then from the standard models? Because aside from the battery, it seems like you're getting pretty much everything a normal flagship phone will get. Well, there's no third camera, so no telephoto, as they opted with ultra-wide instead of telephoto. I guess the reason why for no telephoto is that 200 megapixel will probably make up a bit of the difference and be able to zoom in quite clearly to beyond 2 or 3 times anyway, and the ultra-wide gives them that sort of flexibility to capture more. That's my thought anyway. You've got no S Pen, which the Ultra obviously has, which is understandable though, given you're missing 2.4 millimeters of thickness from the Ultra to the Edge. But that's it, because you get wireless charging, you get IP68, you get stereo speakers, you get Samsung DeX. There's not really anything you're missing out on here. And you also don't have to sacrifice durability, because Samsung have decided, they probably knew that people would be worried about this with the thin nature of it, to put a titanium frame, the same titanium frame that's on the Ultra, and Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2, which is newly announced, to cover that 6.7-inch front display. In terms of how it's going to be to hold it in your hand and the in-hand aesthetic, I can't really speak to that yet. What I can sort of comment on is the Galaxy S6 from 10 years ago, which was thicker than the Galaxy S25 Edge. So I can only imagine having a big screen phone with that thin profile, how that's going to feel. And I can't wait to be able to show you my impressions of it when I get it in. So I'm going to go back to the start question that I had. Why does this exist and should you get one? It exists because, well, we kind of asked for it. We've been talking in some way or another of how boring smartphones have become in the last 5 years. There's been no real great design innovation. Everything is kind of just being like an updated version of what's already been out, maybe newer internals and upgraded camera tech, but the phones are either getting thicker or heavier, and we're not really seeing an advancement in slab smartphone design. And we've been complaining about that. Maybe not everyone, but there's been a large portion of the tech community that have been talking about it being stagnant and stale. So, with that feedback, smartphone manufacturers are trying to stimulate interest and sort of put into the marketplace new form factors. And the S25 Edge kind of represents, I'm going to use this phrase that I heard Samsung say, thinnovation. I'll see myself out. To see if it can change and I guess stimulate that interest. So it exists because in a way, we asked for it. And Samsung and other brands are just trying to give us what we've asked for. Maybe it wasn't specifically this, but it is something different. The advantages of this phone are going to be in-hand comfort and general hand ergonomics when you're holding it. It won't dominate the real estate in your hand and will equal a more sort of practical in-hand feel compared to what smartphones are currently doing. Also, this will kind of pave the way for foldables to become thinner in the future too, because they can fit all this technology into something this thin. Imagine what they can do if they spread it out over two halves of a phone and thin it out even further. We could be in for something big when the next Fold launches later this year. So should you get one? Well, look, I don't normally say yes, but yes, especially as this is something that we've indirectly asked for. We've wanted this new form factor or new design to be brought out. So in a way, I feel like we should support that, even with the price tag that's more expensive than the Plus and just a little bit under the Ultra, kind of could be a stumbling block. But if we want the industry to keep innovating these form factors, I guess we need to show them that, yeah, this is kind of what we were expecting and asking for. Will it be a perfect experience? No, probably not, especially when you have a 3,900 milliamp hour battery with a screen size of 6.7 inches. I just don't see that equating to the all-day battery life that Samsung have said in their testing. The hardware will just be too limited to provide you that sort of flawless battery experience. But it will be something that will help you stand out. Be unique in a sea of sameness of other smartphones that you see in everyday life. It could be worth it if something like that makes you happy. I guess I'll provide a counterpoint. If you don't find value in that sort of new innovation, if you're not someone who, I guess, throws yourself into new things because you want to wait for it to be ironed out, maybe wait for the second version, then avoid it because you probably won't be happy. You'll probably be thinking all the time, I should have just stuck with a tried and true formula of the S25 or S25 Plus or the Ultra. If you spend a little bit more, you get the Ultra with the S Pen, the 4 cameras, the 6.9-inch display, the bigger battery, the faster charging. That all comes with that. And then you just are familiar and you'd be happy. Hopefully, I'll get my hands on an S25 Edge very soon. I'm thinking I'm going to try and get the jet black one. Let me know what sort of content you want from the S25 Edge in the comments below, and I'll put that out in the coming weeks. So make sure you hit subscribe for all of that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You!